So the most interesting thing happened. Um, so when I got back from Mexico, I flew into New Orleans, spent a day there, met up with my sister, went out on Bourbon Street, and when I was leaving, I decided to get on the bus. And at the bus stop, it was kind of crazy. I saw, Greyhound is its own kind of thing. It's a little sketchy, and the workers are like very sketchy. But I saw this young black man trying to get on the bus, and there's a black man working there, and he stopped him from getting on the bus because he had two large bags. Now I've been traveling on the Greyhound like all over the country, and there was no reason for him to stop him. He was trying to charge him extra for, this other bag, right? So, I see that he's struggling and whatnot. I'm like, can I pay it for him? They only taking cash because, they pocketing this extra money. And so I go to the ATM, get out $20. Well, actually, first I stop. I'm like, what does he need? Because he was talking to this other guy. And as soon as I asked, this other guy begins to tell me what he needs, right? But first I try to address this with this guy. So I'm like, okay, I take out $40. I give 20 to the one dude, and he tries to get on the bus, but of course the bus has pulled off now, so he can't get on the bus. I think he used the 20 to take a taxi to go out. But the other dude, I talked to him, and he's like, he's hungry. He hasn't eaten in a couple of days. He's traveling to Atlanta with, he's just getting out of New Orleans. He's traveling to Atlanta, for a new start. Neither of these guys really looked like they were struggling to me. But he's traveling to Atlanta for his new start. And so I'm like, I'm fasting, so I'm, and I would like to eat myself, but I'm like, yeah, I'll get you something to eat. So I give him the 20. We go to Subway. He gets like a Subway sandwich and a drink and whatnot. But we talk for a minute and whatnot. He tells me about how he had met someone while he was in Atlanta. I guess someone who had been there for the Essence Festival. She saw him he was at his storage unit and using the water at their restaurant that is near the storage unit. It turns out this lady's brother is opening a restaurant in New Orleans, and she has a restaurant in Atlanta. So she is getting him a ticket for him to come out to Atlanta. She's going to, put him on. So we ride out there together, and he's kind of telling me that, God spoke to him and let him know that he has all of this, new opportunity coming to him, that he needs to go, that like there's going to be something happening for him. He needs to go. So he goes out there, and we get to Atlanta, and I guess the lady sends her son to pick him up. He's riding in style. His son comes and picks him up in a Benz. So I sent him a message to check on him, ask him how was the first day in Atlanta. And he's like, yo, I'm in this big house. He talked about, the block party that they kind of catered, that he was working at. They've already put him on. I think it's like an oyster place. He's like shucking oysters, and they're paying him a salary, but she's letting him, he's staying in like her son's second home. All of her kids, drive BMWs and everything. And which, all of this sounds really, really great. And I think this is a really, really great opportunity. But the fact that he was saying that God spoke to him, because for me, it was like, I knew that I needed to be of service. And so, that's why I felt so compelled. Even though I didn't have any money, I felt like I'm compelled to like get him some food, support him on his trip. So I check in with him, and he's telling me more about how God spoke to him. And he says that God told him to pull 4 cards. This is in a dream. God is telling him to pull cards in a dream, and gave him the reading in a dream of the cards that he pulled. How interesting is that? How interesting is that? More on this later.